The other theory I have is that that they're all dead besides Thrawn, and that those are reanimated. That's an army of the dead reanimated by the Nightsisters.
Tommy, that's a cool theory.
Because they're all, and they're all just loyal to Thrawn. Kind of almost, they're zombies without the human flesh element they need to eat.
Oh man, I wish I thought of that for the breakdown.
Use it. I'm going on vacation. Talk about it this week.
Too late.
I'm
tired.
Know. All right. Hey, we'll mix them up. Welcome back to the Break Room on YouTube, our preferred platform where we love our fans, not like Twitch where we can't stand them. God, we love you on YouTube. Thanks for joining us on the premier way to catch all Break Room and new Rockstars content, only on YouTube. All right, Ahsoka, episode 6 was last night. Oh my God, can you believe it? We've already had a full moon rise and sunrise, and soon the sun will set. And we got to see Thrawn and Ezra. My God. And we've got a lot of questions to answer, but before we answer those questions, how about some introductions? It's me, Tommy B, and I know that I say Brandon is my favorite Floridian, but let's be honest, it's only because Eric's not out here every single day. With me is the pride of Pensacola, Erik Voss.
No, I am not the pride of Pensacola. I've been there several times. It's a wonderful town.
The Count of Cocoa Beach.
I'm a Jacksonville boy. I was walking to the airport. I saw someone wearing a city of Jacksonville sweatshirt, and I got so excited. And then they went through the non-TSA pre-check side, so I couldn't yell out to them. But
wow, somebody's got pre-check. The Duke of Duval.
Duval, the 904.
All right,
move those chains. Move those chains. I've been to a Jaguars game before.
Yeah, you know what? They're up and coming. I mean, they made the playoffs last year. A little bit of a rough start this year, but I believe in them. Yeah. Duval. All right, now the strikes are still going on.
Yes.
The studios are still greedy little piggy boys and girls. And we support SAG and WGA. We've made our point clear. We're reacting to the show. We're not telling you to watch. We're not saying you gotta catch Ahsoka. We're not paid by Disney at all. Listen, I was on an ABC sitcom for 5 years. Those residual checks are down to pennies. I don't owe them anything. They don't give me free tickets. I say, let me into Disneyland. And they say, who are you? And I say, I'm Erik Voss. And they say, did you get stung by a bee? Anyway, let's get to our lingering questions. Erik, you ready to go?
Let's do it. And can I compliment you first?
Sure.
You and crushed it on WikiLeaks last night. If you haven't had a chance to see that episode yet, they reacted to the episode.
Yes.
Super fun watching you guys react to that. It was a crazy episode. Filoni is cooking.
Yes.
And you guys were there with him in the kitchen.
I am having a great time getting to watch. What a gift to watch shows with your friends and then talk about them. Great. So let's talk about them with my friends. Now, Erik, what the fet does Thrawn need from the Nightsisters' Dark Magick? And that's magic with a CK, my brother.
Yeah, so I love this theory that we're starting to talk about. You and Brandon talked about the what's in those coffins,
Yeah.
The
What's in
idea
the box?
it could be corpses or remains of Night Brothers, Nightsisters that these three great mothers want to reanimate.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see what's in those boxes, but it sounds like there's some kind of quid pro quo and Thrawn wants something in return from them. It seems like he used them before to summon Morgan Elsbeth. He was kind of their conduit. But the thing to remember about Thrawn is our man is he's a tactician. He's a military. He's a Napoleon Bonaparte. He's a Karl Rove, you might say. He is not a believer in magic, but he has to be right now because Peridia just happens to be the home of the Nightsisters of the Death of Miri, and he's just kind of having to work with what he's got. But he is this is a transactional relationship.
Absolutely.
He's not drinking the Kool-Aid. So what I think we got to remember. On the Chimera, the Star Destroyer, are what is left of the Lothal Jedi Temple. Remember how the hollow projection of Palpatine used those to try to corrupt Ezra in the Rebels finale? Those are still there on that ship. I theorize that Thrawn may be using the Nightsisters' magic with a K to activate something in those pieces of the ruins, and that might have been what dragged Ahsoka into the world between worlds.
Oh, wow.
And so that was like a test using Anakin's Force Ghost to try to drag Ahsoka through the mud. Now, the thing is, though, Thrawn doesn't know that who Ahsoka's master is, which surprised me.
Yeah.
But what I think is we might see Ahsoka go back into the World Between Worlds, and they're going to move on to the next tier of Challenger, and that Challenger is going to be Force Ghost of Maul.
Ooh.
That could be why we're hearing Sam Witwer's voices in all the credits.
Wow.
And that Ahsoka could reconfront Maul in the World Between Worlds. And Maul has that connection to the Nightsisters. Mother Talzin was his mother, Savage Opress. He is kind of a Night brother in that way. And that the next step of it is going to be like Ahsoka dragged back into the World Between Worlds. And this time, rather than blue, all these walkways are going to be a red, fiery texture. And she's going to be facing Maul.
Ooh, I got little chills there. That would be incredible.
And she's going to go, or he's going to say, Ahsoka!
We need another Maul call out. A Maul call. I like that. To me, like Kenobi is like Khan from Shin. Like, Khan! I just, it's so good. So good.
Isn't this show good? Hey, I mean, I really worried that we were waiting too long to get to Thrawn.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of in the final arc if you split this up into 3x3x3.
Right.
Only now are we getting to Thrawn and Ezra, but man, the shit that Filoni starts to establish, creepy as hell.
Yes. We've got these like 3 demonic witches that just are chilling on this whale graveyard, basically.
Yeah.
Their home origin planet, communicating to basically a descendant of theirs in another galaxy. It's like we said yesterday on WikiLeaks, or as I call it, Ewok Leaks, because it's a little weird. But it's like telephone. Like Thrawn has to trust that the Nightsisters are communicating what he's telling them to Morgan. Like, you know, like they could be editorializing however they want. Like you said, it's transactional. It's like a fragile truce. The one thing that kind of unites them is they have like a disdain for the Jedi. They just don't. Neither of them want it. Like the Nightsisters are like, we're very magical. Thrawn's like, I don't give a shit about any of that. I don't trust any of those people.
I mean, Thrawn at least has like an appreciation for the role they played in history.
Right.
But yeah, he's so unplugged from them, and he is definitely smarter than the Jedi. So I think he's just kind of like
even
whatever.
The way he like disregards Baylan in this episode. He's kind of like, okay.
Well, he calls him General Baylan Skoll, which just tells us that he only cares about the military role he played during the Clone Wars and not the role he played in this stupid cult that got conned by their own arrogance. But hey, don't you think it's interesting that like the Dathomiri Great Mothers, they call the Jedi animals. They're like, it reeks of doo-doo. Like, that is so freaking funny that they so predate the Jedi Order, the Dai Bendu, the precursors to the Jedi, that, like, you know, when we were kids, they weren't even tracking time on calendars.
That's right. There wasn't even a 3-point line then. It was all 2-pointers.
25,000 BBY. What does BBY stand for?
Big Booty Yoda? Oh, my God. New kink unleashed. Big, beautiful Yoda.
Big booty Yoda.
I guarantee if you go online, I saw a thick RoboCop meme the other day. Sprung for hours. All right. Bricked up watching Yoda.
Dead or alive.
Yoda
You're coming in these cheeks.
Not all cops are bootylicious. Now, all right.
But yeah. I kind of think that they're using those big Pez dispenser statues to angle their voices. So they whisper in one red Dixie cup. And that kind of echoes to one of those big Pez dispensers with the big mouth like, and then it goes all the way to CTOS.
CTOS.
Because what the hell are those Pez dispenser statues? Why don't they have bodies?
I don't understand any of it.
Little lollipop sticks.
I like it. They definitely take better care of it on Peridia than they do on CTOS, though.
Yeah,
CTOS,
they do.
CTOS needs to get like a deep cleaner in there.
Yeah, what's the real wasteland graveyard? The place where everything is still kind of sanded, or the stuff that just looks like it's been sitting out? Kind of like Florida after the homeowners get back after the hurricane evacuation was lifted.
That's right.
Everything just kind of has a layer of grime on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think to be fair, in Florida it was there before, but it's nice that you guys make.
But what's the difference?
Hey guys, go to Florida.
Duval.
All right, now we're getting off track. I want to get back on track. Although I do want to say one thing you noticed: the Nightsisters and the 3 mothers that are there. They identify Sabine as Jedi. They sense Jedi within her. Like 2 things were kind of disproven to me. I had this theory that maybe Sabine was like kind of just like a dud when it came to a Jedi. Not in a bad way. I love the character, but just like maybe she's not like. She's just not meant to be a Jedi, and she's not meant to be a powerful Force user. I also thought Baylan Skoll was a pathological liar and just used the Force to read people's minds and then gaslight them into being like, "I knew you're a master. I was there," and he's basically just like a con artist, a galactic con artist. Now I know that's all not true.
But no, I see why you felt that way, because he kind of seemed like the fact that he sheathed his lightsaber and just used his words to corrupt her, like it was so effective. He just seems someone who's that good with their words, often they know how to lie with those words too.
Trust me. I've dated a few Baylan Skulls in my day. Speaking of dated and loyalty, those stormtroopers that were on the Chimera, they still seem very loyal to Thrawn.
Yeah.
I mean, after all these years, the ship has seen better days. Their armor is all modified with different colors and things like that. They chant his name. Thrawn seems to be a bit of a cult leader in all of this. And then he has Enoch, which, the modulated voice is the great kind of like misdirect in this. Whenever Marok already hurt our feelings, modulated Marok turned out to just be a whisper in the wind. He blew away, turned to dust. Now we have Enoch, and I'm like, I can't be hurt again. This has to be someone cool. And Enoch serves as his right-hand person. I don't say man because we don't know yet. Enoch could be someone awesome, right?
See, I think Enoch he's played by the guy from The Expanse, and I don't think they would I think they credited an actor. I don't know if we're going to see his face. I
hope we do.
I love that the choice to use this golden mask.
Yeah.
It's so weird and non-imperial, right? The rest of them are just, it seems like you called it modified. I think it is out of necessity. Thrawn's like, our numbers have dwindled. Like, what is happening? Are people just like defecting? Did people fall into open pits?
Right.
Did those turtle crab people latch onto their
Do
faces?
they secretly eat? Do they have a taste for Stormtrooper flesh?
What are they cooking? Look inside the pot. You
That's
just see
right.
kind of like, like the Ewoks played the Stormtrooper helmets.
Oh my God!
What are the Noti doing with them?
I think the Noti might not be cannibals, but they might have a taste for human flesh. Now,
I think so.
Well, how do you think? I have a couple theories on this, but I want to hear. How do you think he's maintaining their loyalty? And do you think that some of the bandits we saw with more of the samurai armor could have been defected stormtroopers?
I love that theory. That's so cool because the way they appeared up on the hill kind of doesn't feel like the 5 horsemen of the Peridian apocalypse.
Yeah, right.
Like it looked so cool, and I didn't really get into it in the breakdown, but like their armor does look kind of like samurai.
Yeah.
Like it just looks so specific.
Yeah.
Such a specific.
And we
color.
know that's a Lucas influence from way back.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
Darth
Filoni
Vader's armor is
heavily influenced by Lucas in their conversations.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. Yes. Yeah, I like the idea that they might be defective members of the cult, that they were just kind of Imperial loyalists at first, and they're like, I just got assigned to the 7th Fleet, and then I'm on the Chimera. This is my ship. I pulled the short straw, working for a guy who just got sent to hyperspace prison with whales. But yeah, so some of them would have defected, but anytime that happens in a cult or a political party, the ones who are left are the diehards. The ride or dies.
That's true.
And that's what seems to be left now. How do they maintain their loyalty? I think the fact that they have those red ribbons around them show that they might be true believers. Like I think Thrawn has committed enough to the 3 great mothers, that the rest of these guys have now found a new version of dark side power that they can get on board with.
Sure. I hear that. My thing is that Thrawn may have realized early on that it wasn't necessarily a strength in numbers thing, surviving on that planet. He may have realized that he needed hardcore loyalists, like you said, and they may have killed the other troops. He may have called his army down to kind of like a tactical unit of like, these are the people that will die for me.
Yeah.
That's one theory I have. The other theory I have is that that they're all dead besides Thrawn, and that those are reanimated. That's an army of the dead reanimated by the Nightsisters.
Tommy, that's a cool theory.
Because they're all, and they're all just basically like Sir Erik from Game of Thrones, like
that's so
just
cool.
In service to Cersei. Like they're just loyal to Thrawn. Kind of almost, they're zombies without the human flesh element they need to eat.
That's so cool. I mean, yeah, the idea that these could be like zombie stormtroopers, and literally it's not just their armor that's held together with this red ribbon, it's their actual body parts that are decomposing.
Ooh, it's like the lady with the ribbon around her neck.
Yeah,
they pull the red ribbon off
like,
and they just go...
Yeah, I think
away.
that could be, I mean, these red ribbons, if they come from Nightsister magic, maybe they are containing that kind of green-tinted sorcery, that green mist from spilling out, that's just kind of stuffing the cracks in between their armor. I mean, look, it looks like kintsugi pottery, and you fill that with gold sealant, you know, to kind of keep it together, and it makes this beautiful art. It kind of seems like something similar is happening. And what is that containing? Yeah. Oh, man, I wish I thought of that for the breakdown.
Use it. I'm going on vacation. Talk about it this week.
Too late.
I'm
tired.
Know. All right. Hey, we'll make someone else do it. All right, Eric. We talked a little bit this last night on WikiLeaks with my boy Brando, Marlon, if you know him. But what do you think Thrawn's endgame is, and when are we going to see him next? Is he going to finish out? You think we have more Thrawn? I mean, it feels like we have to at least see him leave the planet.
Yeah, he's going to get off of Peridia on this show, but I don't think he's going to die. God, if he dies, I'm going to be so pissed.
Yeah.
But no. I think, obviously, Dave Filoni's got this big movie coming up. I think it's going to be a Thrawn movie. And what an entrance, you know. Like, Lars Mikkelsen, you wouldn't see him as a huge star, but just his voice is so effective as his character. The stoic energy he's playing it with, but how much he enjoys being this God King to the cult. Yeah, so I don't think he's going to die. We saw him looking at that star map with Morgan Elsbeth. I think that was a star map of the main Star Wars galaxy because it was so charted out. I don't think the Peridian star map would be as charted out. It kind of seems like it's just Peridia here. I think he's kind of like already measuring the drapes of like where he's going to hit first. Now, we know from the Star Wars timeline and the sequel trilogy that he's not going to be that effective, because he can't. He's not going to attack like Coruscant or Chandrila. I feel like that would have come up at some point. And Chunk Quindig, they're kind of charting out a whole new history here. So he might. I don't know if he'll make it back to the main Star Wars galaxy. If he does, it'll be like kind of the outer region, someplace that they could still have some road to explore without affecting the main sequel trilogy timeline of events. But yeah, I think his army is going to be pretty effective, and we're going to see them cause some chaos. I feel like because I'm just dying to see Mon Mothma, Senator Ziono eat shit when those things come up. You know. When they just see like some corpses thrillering their way over to them through the halls of the Chandrila New Republic Senate chamber or wherever it is right now. I just want to see some shit go down. And then Senator Ziono just shit his pants.
I think we'll get Thrawn. We'll get a conclusion of where Thrawn's next move is going to be. I have a feeling Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra. And Hu Yang, I'll include Hu Yang because he's finally not being such a rat bastard. He's becoming a little gentler. He's gentle with Ahsoka, but he's so mean to Sabine. but I think they're going to be stuck for a little bit, and I think that's going to allow Thrawn to get a little bit of shit done. And then I wonder if it's like who would rescue them. I don't know. I'm thinking about that, though. I could see them possibly being stuck at the end of this and then needing to be rescued in another thing. But
yeah, I don't think all the Purgle are going to get shot and killed.
No.
I think maybe the big one will, and that will rally the others to be really pissed off.
Big Daddy died.
There's a lot of those Purgle.
Yeah, that'll be how it goes. Buddy. But I was good luck meeting your dad. Speaking of meeting dads, I'm going home to meet mine tonight. I'm not. I know.
For the first time?
No, I've known him for 39 years. We've had a good run, and hopefully we'll keep going. We might re-up. We have contract negotiations, just like SAG and the AMPTP. But when I meet him, I want him to think I look fancy. So I'm going to dress like Eric is in a Nerd Riot .shop shirt. We have two very significantly different but wonderful Star Wars collections rioting against each other for shirt supremacy right now. We've got these sports-themed, we get baseball tees, we've got Ringers tee, football style, we've got regular, just the blacks, and I think you can get them in black and white, for teams that are maybe a little fictional in their names, but they're real in our hearts and they're fun. You know, you don't have to be a nerd or a sports fan. You can be a nerdy sports fan like me, combine the two worlds, Talk about sports as if you're a nerd. Go in depth. Know the stats. Go next gen with it.
And let's be honest. If you're watching New Rockstars videos, the sports teams you were on as a kid probably were fictional.
Yeah, they were probably Madden franchises that you created players like Lando and Han Solo, like I did. And you tried to make them look as much like Harrison Ford and Billy D. Williams as possible, and then you put them on the Buffalo Bills. And maybe you took the Bills to their first Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl, and nobody cried. Anyway, go to nerdriot.shop to check that out, but also check out our Ahsoka collection. I gotta say, the Mando Season 2 collection, the Ahsoka collection, those shirts are money. I love them. I get compliments on them when I wear them. They're soft. They're comfortable. You know what? Sometimes life can be quiet, and sometimes life can be a riot. Make your life a riot today at nerdriot.shop. All right, buddy boys? Now,
let's do it.
Eric, the Purgle go to Peridea, and they go there to die. It's like people who go to Burning Man to die. You know, that is true. Some people go to the burn to pass away. Not this year. This year, people died by accident.
Did anyone die at Burning Man?
I don't know. Emotionally,
I think we would have heard
I think Diplo's career died a little bit when he pussied out and took a car ride with Chris Rock back to the mainland while everyone else was still in the burn, bro, chopping it up. Now, anyway, Thrawn has directed the other Purgle to be killed on sight, which is never good. You don't want to be killed on sight. If anyone's ever planning on killing me, give me a chance to talk my way out of it. Okay, you don't know what I have. I've got, model trains in my basement you could have. There might be a trade there. I've got original Ghostbusters in packaging. Don't kill me. Take my Ghostbusters. Anyway, do you think that this Purgle massacre that Thrawn has ordered is going to is going to impact Ahsoka and Friends' ability to get home? My prediction that they might be stranded there. Or do you think there's still going to be enough little Purgle they can all each use the tongue to ride them home like Falcor? Yeah!
Woo!
Yeah!
Or they make a raft like Jack Sparrow made a raft out of turtle. Or they could use the weird Noti people who are hyperspace jumpers. They have to be. How do they put on their clothes?
Are those shells attached to their bodies?
Kelly and I were watching this episode. She goes, no fucking way are those shells attached to their bodies, because how do they get those clothes on? And she was like, there are straps right there. And I'm like, no, they just fasten them. They stuff in the clothes.
Why does the baby have a shell then? Do they get bigger shells as they go?
They're like hermit crabs.
So then in that case, then they can leave the shells. I think they're connected anally.
Okay.
I think the shells sprout out of their asshole.
Okay, so two ways they could get off the planet.
Okay.
How
dare you?
A raft of turtles or Purgle, but the Purgle, not all the Purgle are gonna die.
I hope my mom's not watching, by the way. Sorry if you are, Mom. See you soon.
Do we think it's unidirectional? Like the Purgle can only go toward Peridea and not away from Peridea?
That's interesting.
Like salmon going upstream?
Oh.
If not, look. Ezra Bridger's back in the picture.
That's right.
If you watch any episode of Rebels, what does Ezra do? Our man always just finds some Stormtrooper armor that fits him perfectly.
Yeah.
He says his name's Jabba the Hutt, and it fools every
Everybody.
Stormtrooper. He loves cosplaying as Stormtroopers and sneaking onto Imperial craft. He's just going to do the same thing. They're going to fall for it.
It's his. You could say it's his passion.
He loves it. He's like, "What's your name? My name is Lando Calrissian, the most famous smuggler in the Outer Rim."
Exactly.
And it goes right over their heads.
Oh my God! One of my watching of Rebels, one of the things that blew me away was that Billy D. Williams did Lando's voice. I think I already knew that, but rediscovering, and that James Earl Jones did Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah.
What?
Hey,
what?
I mean, the gift bags at Lucasfilm's audio booths are
Could you
incredible.
imagine? God, I just want to be like Blip Lorp, the shitting robot or something like that in an episode of Bone Troopers, like some Filoni passion project that comes out on Disney Plus in 2035. And my only line is, "Oh God, that's too much." Oh no, it won't stop coming out. I'm gonna need an oil bath. Blip blop. We never should have made this robot poop.
I mean, didn't they? There was a name of one of the
Glub Shitto?
Glub Shitto is an icon, but Click Clack, is that the name?
Oh,
of the,
yes,
the Geonosian, and they just call him Click Clack because that's the sound he makes. They're just so mean.
Yes.
His people were genocided.
Oh,
You're
my
calling
God.
him an onomatopoeia.
They ordered their deaths. Their deaths were ordered. They were commanded. So many people, so many deaths. A million voices crying out all at once. And there was Clip Clap. shitting his brains out. Blip Blop, the shitting robot. He was there for it all. He's like Hu Yang. He's like 25,000 years old. I've shit in every timeline. All right, that's enough. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching. Let's get back on track. So Baylan's plans are a bit of a mystery, and we saw Shin kind of have like a reaction to Baylan, like, a little bit of like the Anakin skepticism of Obi-Wan starting to form, where you're like, hey, wait a second. I thought it was this, and now you're saying it's this? Okay. Well, I'm not going to, like, play all my cards. What do you think Baylan's really after? What's his end game?
What an like, Baylan, I think my favorite Baylan episode yet. I mean, Ray Stevenson.
Unbelievable.
God, I'm so bummed that he's not with us anymore.
It's so
because
sad.
He's so good in this show.
It's so sad.
Everything.
And he was a great actor in so many projects, and it's like, you know, it's great that we have this thing. Fans of his have this performance to watch over this, you know, this kind of this season of television that he's getting deservedly great accolades for in a medium that like acting doesn't often get noticed. It's a lot of the special effects and the practical effects and things like that are the stars, or the true stars.
I think it was Chris Evans just did an interview recently that kind of confirmed what
Tarantino
said that there are no like stars in the MCU. The characters are the stars.
Yeah.
And I think the MCU Star Wars have kind of like led to the biggest misunderstanding of what acting is in the history of Hollywood.
Right.
Anyway, that's a whole other theory.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. I think, but for Ray Stevenson, the performance that he's giving, that is it's so intense and engaging. It's also so mysterious, as like it's like any number of things in the final 2 episodes could happen with that character. He could completely break good and help them, help Ezra and Sabine and Ahsoka escape. Yeah. He could go full bad and like kill someone important that we don't see in any of the Mandalorian seasons that are, you know, like, because that's even later, right? In the timeline. This is like 3 years after BBY? Or?
See, right now, it's not really clear. It seems like they're just progressing chronologically, and Ahsoka is taking place after The Mandalorian Season 3.
Oh,
but just based off of Captain Carson Teva, didn't really bring up any of this stuff.
Right, yeah.
But then again, in that hyperspace shot, in the breakdown, I do think we see Grogu's in one Naboo starfighter, but that could just be a blur. I don't know. To answer the question.
Yeah.
I think Baylan's going to be writing Bendu, like in the Never-Ending Story on Falcon. I think it's Bendu. I think it's got to be Bendu. If it's not Bendu, could be the Gods of Mortis, could be the Wellspring of Life priestesses from Clone Wars Season 6. But I think Bendu's the best option because, you know, Rebels Season 3, Bendu, voiced by Tom Baker, a fellow doctor in the lineage of doctors like David Tennant voicing Hu Yang, and Hu Yang telling the never-ending story of a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away in this episode. It kind of seems like Ahsoka and Baylan are chasing that same fairy tale, just from different angles. And it seems like Bendu has got to be the option. The fact that the little Noti camouflage as rocks. What did we see when we first met Bendu? He was camouflaged as a rock. It kind of seems like it's all connected. There's a whole other video you can see on the new Rockstars channel that's in the works right now where I go into all the evidence here. But I think he's after Bendu, and maybe he doesn't know it's Bendu. Maybe he just kind of hears that voice. The fact that he said something stirs, like it was a voice that was calling to Kanan on Catalan and Rebel Season 3, but it's also a figure that was stirring that he was physically blind to, but he was able to use the Force due to Bendu's speech.
And Bendu would be able to engage with a character like Baylan because Bendu's whole thing is not taking sides.
He's agnostic.
He wouldn't be like, I'm not helping you, Baylan Skull. He'd be like, come on, Baylan, what do we need to talk about? Let's chop it up, baby. Dude, I love it. I mean, I'm bonkers for Bendu.
On Atollon, Bendu was zapping both Imperial walkers and Y-Wings. He killed rebel pilots. Now, Hera can say that, like, Thrawn killed a lot of my friends. She doesn't talk about Bendu.
By the way, Hera badly missed this episode.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, was it just Hera, or was it?
I'm unaware of any other characters. Anyhow, we need Hera. Little Jason, I guess.
Little Chopper.
Little Chopper.
Missed the chop shot.
Chopper has not done enough murdering in this season. We're well due for a Chopper murder.
I think the assumption is anytime we don't see Chopper on screen, he's off screen killing someone.
Chekhov's Chopper. If he's on screen, he must kill someone. I stole Brandon made a check. What was Brandon's Chekhov's Bandits or something like that? He made something very funny during our live stream. It's always great when you explain how a joke went down without any of the details or just telling it.
This is why you gotta watch it.
Just steal jokes, guys. Speaking of stealing jokes, I'll be telling jokes at the Carlson Theater Friday, September 22nd at 8 p.m. Now, I think we've got a lot to look forward to. Possible Baylan Bendu connection, the B&B boys. I'm excited. Ahsoka's probably gonna see Ezra. We're gonna have Ezra and Ahsoka in the same place at the same time. We're eating good right now, guys. We're eating good. Filoni is serving us up a filet mignoni. John, any nice Twitchers we want to shout out? Any nice Twitch supporters?
We got some questions.
Great, fire them our way.
Questions.
I got some answers.
Shin was asking some questions of Baylan in this episode. Do you think she's getting tired of his shit and might, break away? Or do you think it was more like, hey, let me set up this lore dump so that you can do some exposition for a few minutes?
I don't know. I feel like she's at the point in her training. She still calls him master. We've just seen before. When you're not, she's not being trained as a Jedi, and he repeats that, but she has the braid, and there's master and apprentice, which is the Sith way of doing it as well. Yeah, I think she's getting a little sick of his shit. I think there's going to be a break. Brandon and I predicted one will kill the other. I think.
Oh, no.
No?
I hope not. Here, I sense the generational gap.
Woke you right back up with that.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about Episode 6 was the way that it had this meta commentary on the way Star Wars treats narratives, and as this idea of the meta journal of the Wills, a galaxy far, far away being the way the Wills saw these epic tales, these Legend of Gilgamesh or whatever you want to describe, these biblical allusions that the future races are learning from. Anyway, I think Shin doesn't give a fuck about any of that. And that Baylan appreciates these bedtime stories, but Shin, as a homeschooled Boken Jedi, is kind of like, listen, old timer, I kind of like these animated Star Wars shows grounded in the prequel era better than the original trilogy. And then to Baylan, that's like sacrilegious. Yeah. I kind of sense this like generational divide. Yeah. You have this divide between people who worship and respect the original trilogy and people who grew up watching Clone Wars and Rebels and just love the Filoni Renaissance. Yeah. And I feel like that there's that divide between the old man and the girl, and that's kind of the divide there. I think that's the relationship there. I really dig it. I think it's cool.
I like it. I call the new generation the Filoni baloney. I want Jedis to be stiff. I want them to fight like this.
Hey, here's a question from Ryan Painter. What happened on the planet previously to cause the temples to go to the ruins that they are now? Is this connected with this power that?
I think that those were once pleasure domes, and a massive orgy knocked them down at the base.
You think someone just felt awkward, and then everyone else is like, I can't associate with this person anymore?
I think the concept of shame hit them like the Garden of Eden, and they all looked at each other and said, "We need to put cloaks on."
Yeah, if you listen closely in that Thrawn chant, someone was in the back of the room going, shame,
shame, shame, shame, shame, shame, shame.
Hey, so what I think happened, I think, Ryan, this is a huge question. Yes. The idea of the Dathomiri diaspora, like why did they leave that galaxy to settle on Dathomiri? We just learned in this episode that Dathomiri are not native to the main Star Wars galaxy, that they came, they were migrants who came to this galaxy.
Do we have any other examples of that? I mean, I don't mean to ask you off the top of off the dome. I can't think of,
I mean, not that I know of.
Holodecks.
The Rakatan invaders, if you consider the Rakata Star Wars canon, maybe not. I thought it was interesting that the little Noti had similar eye stalks as the Rakatans had. Could they have been evolved from the Rakatans? Can evolution happen within that many generations? Maybe in Star Wars. I don't know if they have the Darwinian evolution in a midichlorian driven, but were midichlorians only true to this? Because the idea of Clone Wars Season 6 is that the midichlorians were native to the wellspring of life that is only in this galaxy. Do midichlorians not exist in this other galaxy with Peridea? I hope not. I would love to have some corner of Star Wars that didn't have midichlorians in it. I think they moved to this galaxy because Bendu showed up there and he's like, "Get off my lawn, you witches!"
Oh,
and then he scared them off.
Oh my!
That's my thinking.
You did a little kick step in there. I got scared.
Or you could say...
I dialed 9 and 1 on my phone underneath the desk.
We're talking about the wellspring of life. If the 5 priestesses who each represented the 5 different emotions, what if maybe there was a 6th? Or one of those 5 could have been the original Witch of Dathomir. Could have been a sister who was cast out from heaven, like Lucifer.
Horndogia,
who was all-time horny. That was her emotion. Was banished to Peridia, this wasteland.
What if we had a party where everyone wore lingerie?
And they're like,
Horndogia,
we don't need that. We're okay just playing Wingspan at this
Maybe
party.
we all put our keys in a fishbowl. Horndogia.
And then they just started a separate text thread that didn't have her weird Android
let's just be the
text message in there.
5 sisters.
And we'll just have the 5 emotions, and they're like, "Oh, good, Yoda's knocking on our door. Now he's not gonna feel weird."
Yeah.
So the idea I think that I really like is that the whole sect of Nightsisters, the Witches of Dathomir, descended from this one priestess, and that she was banished to this hell of Peridia, and that by migrating to the planet later known as Dathomir, that was their gradual steps to try to get back into the Garden of Eden that we know as the Wellspring of Life. And so that's why they moved back to our galaxies. They're trying to get back into the kingdom.
2 Garden of Eden references in one show. You know what that means. Wrap it up, John. Any more questions?
I do. I got a couple more.
Okay.
This is from Savvy389.
Stabby389? Let's vet that user.
Are we assuming there are only 3 witches still on this planet, or
I was wondering that.
And then they say, how do they plan on killing intergalactic beings? I'm not sure who they is and who the intergalactic beings are.
Stabby, question. I like the question. One, I felt like the fact that they had a holding cell and all these other things kind of implied to me that there are more people there. But also we know, it seems as though Marok was conjured by Morgan, right? Like, I mean, I don't know if we know that for sure, but some sort of dark magic created Marok. They could also have like an army of servants that are conjured via the same way. Like, they're just like ghosts or spirits or essence, kind of the shadow ghost from Game of Thrones. All of that strange kind of... scary dark magic.
I just find it interesting that if Marok was a puppeted Night Brother or using Dark Sister or Night Sister magic, what am I saying? I said Dark Brother. I meant Night Brother using Night Sister magic. They had him pilot one of those old World War II Clone Wars fighter jets. So they can, I mean, before in Clone Wars, they were literally like,
right.
Like, how are they piloting a jet with that?
They seem like free thinkers for sure.
I think
I've been on some message boards with some interesting ideas, Morgan.
Oh no, how do I get him unsubscribed?
I think John F. Kennedy Jr. might still be alive.
Well, that's not a conspiracy theory.
Oh, that's a truth.
Okay. The question was, are there more than 3? I think there are honestly 3. It kind of was implied that they're just kind of the 3 caretakers who are left on this like graveyard. The rest have fled.
Do you think they're always on?
And the rest left.
They're always on as spooky sisters. Like, there's got to be a point where they're like, they can just be themselves, right?
I think that's themselves. I think at some point you cosplay that much, it just becomes your identity.
Okay.
Man, what amazing casting.
Yeah.
Like, all 3 of them, they're named after the 3 fates of Greek mythology, but they just change the spelling. And then we have Stargate SG-1, and then the Uncharted actor, we have one from, I'm forgetting what the rest. Farscape.
Frack. Farscape's the one that said fracking, right?
One who played the Borg Queen from Picard.
Yes.
One Mother Xanadu from Swamp Thing. They're all so committed, and you've seen them in things, but none of them like really pop out at you. But it's like you buy that the 3 of them would hang out together and play Wingspan.
I certainly did, and like I said, if you're going to make a naughty action figure, they got to come in 3s or something. I need 3 of those little guys. I don't want one.
I want a whole bunch.
Don't make me pay $25 for one little note.
Someone shared a meme that I saw while I was going through pre-check. I didn't have much time to look at it because pre-check's where it's at.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to not be on pre-check. You want to know why? Because Buffalo does it a little different, folks. You get off the plane, they make you carry a bale of hay onto a tractor. You pay the bale of hay toll. You might get your bag. You might not. My bag usually shows up right as I'm headed back to the airport. So it'll be great.
What was I saying?
I don't remember.
The
I
meme I
interrupted.
said was someone sharing that photo of the guy doing this, and it said Hasbro when they see all those stormtroopers with different armor.
Yes.
Like,
I'll tell you what I thought.
I'll buy all of them.
I immediately thought Celebration exclusive, Comic-Con exclusive. Like, I remember sleeping overnight, and hopefully sleeping with someday our good friend Frank Moran at Comic-Con. Frank and I, a couple years in a row. Frank's been on some new Rockstar stuff before. He's bringing on X-Men 97, by the way, and I'm desperately working that connection to get us some great X-Men 97 experiences for the channel. But Frank and I would sleep on concrete to get in line to get the exclusive toys from Hasbro. And like, I remember the year, it was before Force Awakens had even come out. You could get a first order Stormtrooper, the first off the line first order Stormtrooper. And I got 2 of those bad boys, and I was like, "This is amazing." And then I opened it, and I'm like, "It's a Stormtrooper. I have 10 of these. What have I done with my life? Why was I sleeping on concrete? I should have been in bed with my gorgeous wife while our children slept comfortably in their race car beds that are real race cars, because we're so rich we have that technology." And instead, Frank and I just got toys. Frank has a wonderful child and a happy life. He's successful. The lesson here is you can sleep on concrete to get Stormtrooper toys, but you gotta have more than that. That can't fill your cup. You can't fill your cup with sleeping on concrete. John, any more questions?
I got one last question.
All right, thank God.
This is from the gamer MJ.
Yeah,
Hey, Gamer MJ.
frequent guest or frequent question
know
asker.
you.
Like Gamer MJ.
I have not heard this theory before. They are saying, curious to hear your thoughts on the theory that Filoni is making it feel like Anakin is going to be the father and Ahsoka the daughter. If that tracks for you.
Yeah, my question would be, who's the son?
Who is
then?
the son?
Well,
Luke.
it's tough because the gods of Mortis did expire, it seemed like. But I think we all agree that if you're a god, you're gonna respawn or reincarnate somewhere in some form.
They're not done.
And I think I like the interpretation that that Ahsoka is just the living embodiment of the daughter, and that as Vader. Vader was the living embodiment of the son, and if you consider Vader and Anakin separate entities, Vader could be the son, Anakin could be the father.
Ooh, that would be fun. I like that theory a lot. Way more than my theory.
If the gods of Mortis show up in live action, I want them to be separate entities. Like, I don't want just to, have the idea that these human beings or these souls or these ghosts are the living embodiment of these gods. I want us to go a step further and actually show us these gods in some other kind of physical form played by different actors. I know that sounds crazy, and it might be a step too far for so many people, but we just saw young Ahsoka with de-aged Anakin in a Clone Wars flashback episode, and it looks so good.
Yeah, come on.
So I think we can do a live action Mortis arc, and I don't know if I buy that. I like the interpretation that Anakin is the father. I'll say that. I really love that interpretation. I don't know if that's ever going to be spoken or confirmed aloud, at least in the Ahsoka series. But hey, maybe in this movie that comes out beyond it, or if there's an Ahsoka season 2. That'd be awesome.
Let's get an Ahsoka season 2. You know what I hope we have a season 100 of? Whatever the hell we're calling this show. I call it Talking Tano.
I like it.
Talking Tano with Tomo and Erik. Right? That's it for us today. Make sure you subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube. And give us a follow on Twitch where we do these videos live, baby. We do it live. And as we always end the show, Carabas! Come on, where's Zeb? Where the freak is Zeb? All right.
Zeb.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.